armed.
SCS count started.
115. 110.
Vent valves locked.
T-minus 1 minute.
Rock, report range status.
Range green.
54.
Range is go, including weather. Final go, pulled at 25 seconds.
40.
Stable at step 3.
T-minus 30 seconds.
28. 25.
Status check. Go Centaur. Go OA-7.
20.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Go for main engine start. 1, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket with Cygnus and the SS John Glenn, extending the research legacy for living and working in space.
Speeds, injector pressures look good. HER roll program has begun. Body rates look good. Booster engine continues to look very good. Pump speeds, injector pressures, and band. Well, now requesting an acceleration change. Booster has begun the zero angle attack phase of flight. Signatures look good. Body rates are right down the middle. RD-180 performance continues to be nominal. Mach 1.
Vehicle now going through the sound barrier.
Max Q. Body rates continue to look very good at this point in flight.
Vehicle hitting maximum dynamic
Booster has
pressure.
throttled back, right on schedule. Signatures look good.
Engine throttle
Current
back going
altitude
through
is
max
11
Q
miles.
as customary.
Range distance is 5.5 miles. Current velocity is 1,929 miles per hour. Range track shows good progress right down the middle of the corridor. Booster engine performance continues to look very good at this point. EU control is near nominal. Body rates look good. Steering has been enabled at this point. Body rates look good. The vehicle is now 1/2 of its liftoff weight.
Two and a half minutes into the flight.
Steering has begun. Body rates look good. And we've fired the RCS pyro valve. That system is now pressurizing to flight levels. Signatures look good. Current altitude is 29 miles, downrange distance 39 miles, current velocity 4,325 miles per hour. Booster has begun to throttle to maintain 3.5 Gs. Closed loop steering has begun. Body rates look good. Vehicle is now 1/4 of its liftoff weight. RD-180 continues to perform well. Mixture ratio looks good. Boost phase chill down has begun. And boost phase chill down has completed. Went up on Pico momentarily. And we have Pico. Engine shutdown looks good. We have stage separation. We have LOX and fuel pre-start. We have ignition and full thrust on the RL-10. Payload fairing jettison has occurred. Looks like a clean step. Centaur steering has been enabled. Body rates look good.
Data now coming in from the New Hampshire tracking station.
Miles, downrange distance 317 miles, current velocity 10,050 miles per hour.
Still data coming in from the Cape as well.
Centaur PU is requesting an oxidizer-rich condition at this point. Chamber pressures, LOX pump discharge, and venturi are within band. Hydrogen system line temperatures are warming towards bottle temperature.
Ready.
And we have a quick report of Atlas first stage performance. It was plus 106 pounds of PE or 0.33 sigma high. We have begun seeing our thermal conditioning fairings on the RCS. Now controlling near nominal mixture ratio also. Engine response looks good. Set MR.
Centaur now steering and powering the rocket.
Centaur is completing the dogleg maneuver. Body rates are now controlling down the middle. Dogleg is complete. And Centaur has begun to roll to optimize telemetry. RL-10 chamber pressures, LOX pump discharge, and fuel venturi all look good.
7 minutes into the flight now.
Centaur currently is flying at an altitude of 191 miles. Downrange distance is 685 miles. Current velocity 10,538 miles per hour. First burn of Centaur is scheduled for 13 minutes and 42 seconds in duration. All systems continue to look very good at this point. Continuing to observe our thermal conditioning firings on the RCS. Signatures look normal. Centaur has completed the roll to optimize telemetry. Going right down the middle at this point. Range track shows good progress down the expected corridor.
About another 10 minutes on the Centaur burn. Centaur cuts off at 18 minutes into the flight. We're just over
Centaur
8.
PU limiting has completed. Now actively controlling MR. Still near nominal at this point. Centaur tank pressures, bottle pressures are all stable. Battery voltages look good. Centaur currently is flying at an altitude of 219 miles, downrange distance 1,024 miles, current velocity 11,250 miles per hour.
Nine and a half minutes into the mission.
Coming up on the format change momentarily.
Standing by to take TDRS data, TDRS East.
And we have had the format change. Small loss of data has resumed. All signatures look good. RL10, chamber pressures, LOX pump discharge, and fuel venturi all very good. The fuel rich mixture ratio, I apologize, no, that's oxidizer rich. Range track shows Centaur continuing to make good progress down the expected track. Altitude 223 miles, downrange distance 1,311 miles, current velocity 11,975 miles per hour. Centaur tank pressures continue to look very good. Storage bottle pressures are stable. Batteries look good as well.
Still getting data from the New Hampshire station north of Boston, as well as from TDRS East.
At 700 seconds mission elapsed time, the RL10 continues to perform very well. Chamber pressures, LOX pump discharge, and fuel venturi all controlling near nominal at nominal MR. RCS line temperatures continue to warm towards bottle temperatures. Pressures look good. Batteries are stable. Range track continues to show Centaur making good progress down the expected track. Continuing to see our normal thermal conditioning firings on the RCS. As commented previously, the line temperatures are still warming towards bottle temperatures. Signatures look good.
About 5 minutes remaining in this Centaur engine burn. 14
Review of
minutes
the
into the mission now.
Upper stage parameters show all systems continue to operate nominally. Very good thus far into the flight. Centaur currently is flying at an altitude of 182 miles, downrange distance 2,377 miles, current velocity 14,708 miles per hour. Nominal thermal conditioning firings. Our PU is requesting a slightly oxidizer-rich condition at this point. Response looks good.
Lots of data from the New Hampshire station now north of Boston, everything coming through the tracking and data relay satellite. "16 minutes into the flight, data looks good. Clean burns on the Centaur."
Centaur has begun the fuel limiting phase just prior to MECO. Under 2 minutes remain in this burn.
Centaur will cut off 18 minutes, 12 seconds into the mission. A little more than 2 minutes away. And then it will coast for about 3 minutes.
Well. Mars controlling very near nominal. Hydrazine systems are stable. One minute to MECO.
And at that point, we'll have about a 3-minute coast before the Cygnus John Glenn module separates.
Centaur tank pressures continue to look good. Batteries are stable. RL-10 continues to perform well.
Launch plus 18 minutes now.
And we have IIP vanish. Centaur is now orbital. And we have MECO. Shutdown looks good. We have 4S settling on. We have begun the turn to separation attitude. This will be a 2-minute, 49-second coast to spacecraft separation.
Orbit at separation 124 miles circular above the Earth. At an inclination of 51.6 degrees.
Down and is stable. Still settling. 4S motors. Still making our turn to separation attitude. have the MECO 1 plus 3 second open, showing a very good agreement between the pre-flight predictions and the actual recorded values for all parameters. Centaur is right where we expect it to be.
And we're about a minute away from spacecraft separation.
And Centaur has completed the turn to spacecraft separation edge. Separation in approximately 40 seconds. Centaur fuel tank has been vented down. It's now stable. And we have spacecraft separation.
And the Cygnus has separated from Centaur. It's on the way to the space station.
27-minute and 27-second coast to our second burn, which will deorbit the upper stage.
And Cygnus will be rendezvousing with the space station Saturday morning about 6:05 a.m. This is Atlas Launch Control. We're now 23 minutes, 33 seconds into the mission. Flight of the Atlas V and the Cygnus module now on its way toward a rendezvous with the International Space Station. Fern, I wonder if you could give us a quick snapshot of what you saw as the rocket went uphill. How did it look in terms of the flight of the Atlas and the Centaur and the orbit that we're in?
It was a beautiful launch, George. Everything was very nominal. I can tell you that for the Atlas booster phase of flight, the Atlas booster performed slightly above nominal, so that's a good thing. The predicted times of when events occurred were very close to the actual times were very close to the pre-flight predictions. I can tell you that booster engine cutoff occurred within 1/10 of a second of our prediction. And main engine cutoff when we inserted the Cygnus module into orbit was within 2 seconds of the pre-flight predictions, which is well within the expected variation. Looks like we nailed the orbit once again, And in a few minutes, we'll go off and get our initial look at the data. But at this point, everything looks very nominal. Looks like a very accurate orbit insertion. I know that the spacecraft folks are getting some data from the spacecraft right now. It looks good, and they're going to have full comm in about 5 or 6 minutes from now, and we're looking forward to hearing from them how things are going.
We're just, as a matter of interest, the Centaur now to complete the mission of the Atlas V and United Launch Alliance has some things to do.
Yes, exactly. So as soon as we separate, we immediately begin what we call a CCAM maneuver. That's a collision and contamination avoidance maneuver. The idea is to back away from the spacecraft so that there's no chance of recontact, and so that there's no possibility of contamination from the small maneuvering thrusters that we have on Centaur. Now, about a half an hour after separation, I think it's about 27 minutes, we will actually do another short engine burn. It'll last about 11 or 12 seconds, and the reason we're doing that is to do a controlled deorbit of the Centaur upper stage, and that will bring the stage down just a little over an hour after liftoff. So what's that? Probably about close to half an hour from now. It'll bring it down south of Australia over open water, and that's a planned deorbit so that you never have to worry about orbital debris from this upper stage again. So once we're done with that, our launch vehicle mission will be complete. But of course, the primary mission to deliver Cygnus to orbit looks like it has been successful, and we'll get confirmation of that shortly.
Well, very congratulations on a successful launch, and I know we very much have enjoyed having the Orbital Cygnus ATK people here at Kennedy and processing through Kennedy facilities. They really have been very enjoyable to work with, and hopefully they'll come back and bring us another module at some point in the future as well.
Yeah, we look forward to doing it again. They're a great team to work with. I love working with them, and I hope we can all do it again soon.
Exactly right. Yep, they're a super payload test team. So, well, Vern, thanks very much. We'll look forward to seeing you on the post-launch news conference later on. But again, thank you and congratulations on what appears to be at this point as a very successful launch for the Atlas V.
Okay, thank you, George. We'll see you in a while.
And we're now 27 minutes, 10 seconds into the flight of the Atlas V, with Cygnus now on its way to the International Space Station. We'll be standing by later on. We'll come back for some data to confirm that the solar arrays on the Cygnus have begun to deploy and have deployed. And we still have the Cygnus test team on station at their consoles following the flight here at Kennedy, as well as the team at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. So at this point, though, we will stand by for more data to come back on the Cygnus. And in the meantime, we have the launch replays for you to look at. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, go for main engine start. 1, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket with Cygnus and the SS John Glenn, extending the research legacy for living and working in space. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, go for main engine start. 1, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket with Cygnus and the SS John Glenn, extending the research legacy for living and working in space.
U.S. close-up controls, just good. Pump speeds, injector pressures look good.
4, 3, 2, go for main engine start.
Booster engine continues to look very good. Pump speeds, injector pressures in band. The 180 continues to perform well. Now requesting the mixture ratio change. Booster has begun the zero angle attack phase of flight. Pictures look good. Body rates are right down the middle. RD-180 performance continues to be nominal. Mach 1.
Vehicle now going through the sound barrier.
Max Q. Body rates continue to look very good at this point in flight.
Vehicle hitting maximum dynamic
Booster has
pressure.
throttled back, right on schedule. Signatures look good.
Engine throttle
Current
back going
altitude
through
is
max
11
Q
miles.
as customary.
Range distance is 5.5 miles. Current velocity is 1,929 miles per hour. Range track shows.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, go for main engine start. 1, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket with Cygnus and the ISS John Glenn, extending the research legacy for living and working in space.
The U.S. going controls. Pictures look good. Speeds, injector pressures look good. HER roll program has begun. Body rates look good. Continue to look very good. Pump speeds, injector pressures, and band. The it continues to perform well. Now requesting the mixture ratio change. Has begun the zero angle attack phase of flight.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, go for main engine start. 1, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket with Cygnus and the SS John Glenn, extending the research legacy for living and working in space.
The U.S. going to close loop controls. Pictures look good. Pump speeds, injector pressures look good. HER roll program has begun. Body rates look good. Booster engine continues to look very good. Pump speeds, injector pressures, and band. The 180 continues to perform well. Now requesting the mixture ratio Booster has begun the zero angle attack phase of flight. Signatures look good. Body rates are right down the middle. RD-180 performance continues to be nominal. Mach 1.
Vehicle now going through the sound barrier.
Max Q. Body rates continue to look very good at this point in flight.
Vehicle hitting maximum dynamic
Booster has
pressure.
throttled back, right on schedule. Signatures look good.
Engine throttle
Current
back going
altitude
through
is
max
11
Q.
miles.
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, go for main engine start. 1, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket with Cygnus and the SS John Glenn, extending the research legacy for living and working in space.
Controls look good. Pump speeds, injector pressures look good. HER roll program has begun. Body rates look good. Booster engine continues to look very good. Pump speeds, injector pressures in band. The 180 continues to perform well. Now requesting the mixture ratio change. Booster has begun the zero angle attack phase of flight. Signatures look good. Body rates are right down the middle. RD-180 performance continues to be nominal. Mach 1.
Vehicle now going through the sound barrier.
Max Q. Body rates continue to look very good at this point in flight.
Vehicle hitting maximum dynamic
Booster has
pressure.
throttled back, right on schedule. Signatures look good.
Engine throttle
Current
back going
altitude
through
is
max
11
Q
miles.
as customary.
Range distance is 5.5 miles. Current velocity is 1,929 miles per hour. Range track shows good progress right down the middle of the corridor. Booster engine performance continues to look very good at this point. EU control is near nominal. Body rates look good.
Two, go for main engine start. 1, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket with Cygnus and the SS John Glenn, extending the research legacy for living and working in space.
Controls look good. Pump speeds, injector pressures look good. HER roll program has begun. Body rates look good.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Go for main engine start. 1, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V rocket with Cygnus and the SS John Glenn, extending the research legacy for living and working in space.
Controls look good. Pump speeds, injector pressures look good. HER roll program has begun. Body rates look good. Booster engine continues to look very good. Pump speeds, injector pressures in band. The 180 continues to perform well. Now requesting an mixture ratio change. Booster has begun the zero angle attack phase of flight. Pictures look good. Body rates are right down the middle. RD 180 performance continues to be nominal. Mach 1.
Vehicle now going through the sound barrier.
And we have Pico. Engine shutdown looks good. We have stage separation. We have LOX and fuel pre-start. We have ignition and full thrust on the RL-10. Payload fairing jettison has occurred. Looks like a clean step. Centaur steering has been enabled. Body rates look good.
Data now coming in from the New Hampshire tracking station.
18 miles, downrange distance 317 miles, current velocity 10,050 miles per hour.
Still data coming in from the Cape as well. Our countdown channels are relatively quiet right now. Countdown channels are relatively quiet right now. Countdown channels are relatively quiet. Once the Atlas lifts off, it'll be on an azimuth of 44.4 degrees.